uncovered in book 3. And then book 4 is going to be very much what the deal is with Subject 37.
Oh, yay. Something to look forward to.
And I really love writing that character.
He had to be fun because just reading it, it was like juicy. You just wanted to pull out more.
Yeah.
He's getting under her skin really deep.
Yes. So, and I will try not to spoil anything, but yes, it's even more deep than we all know yet. So.
Well, I have to say, I think another interesting aspect of the book was, and was very specific to this book, was the whole chimera thing. I had to look that up. I was kind of listening, news was playing in the background, and I heard I heard the word chimera on the news, and I was like, oh, this is something that people use.
For sure. I actually did a ton of research because I just didn't know that much about it. Yeah, some of the real science happening there is endlessly fascinating.
Yeah, that was good. I'm glad you included that. I love learning new things.
Me too.
Now, you mentioned next summer. What was the title again?
Cut to the Bone.
Cut to the Bones. Do we know what month in the summer?
I think July. It should be July. So far every book has come out in July, so I'm assuming, but I don't actually know for sure yet because we don't have a release date set.
When it's getting close, please let us know so we can be sure and give it a plug on our show.
Oh, I would love to. Thank you.
And do you have any other events or any other books you'd like our listeners to know about?
Not at the moment. I'm sort of taking the holidays off from book events, but I do a lot of library appearances and that kind of thing. I love meeting readers and other authors. So it's always listed on my website if I've got upcoming events. And for books, I'm actually waiting right now. We're discussing my 4th book with my publisher. And so while we're hammering out the details for the next Sayer book, I'm actually working on a very different kind of book, techno thriller, looking at brain-computer interfaces and what would happen if your brain could be hacked.
Well, definitely keep us posted on that one, too.
That sounds interesting.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm having so much fun writing it.
Would you tell us your website so people can look you up and find your books?
It's just EllisonCooper.com.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Well, we will update our show notes with that information. Our listeners can check you out.
Great. Thank you.
Well, Ellison, it was such a pleasure reading this book and getting to know you, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was a great interview with Ellison. I have to say, I really liked this book. There's a lot to unpack in this story.
Absolutely. Yes. I have to say, it was one of the most unique books I've read this year.
Definitely different.
There were a lot of things covered in this book as far as mind games, and I didn't know a lot about cadaver dogs before this happened, and I probably only know a little bit now, but I find it very interesting how they train these dogs, and they mostly help with search and rescue.
Yeah, I'm sure what we learned in this book was just scratching the surface.
Well, underneath the dogs and the search and all of that was very good, but underneath it all, the diabolical evil of this antagonist in this book was just mind-boggling.
Well, that's what I say, the mind games that this person played with its victims and with the people searching for the victims.
It was a page-turner.
Well, not only the antagonist, but also the underlying story about Sayer Altair interviewing the psychopath. His subject 0137, who was a self-described or self-identified non-criminal psychopath, and how he was playing games with her mind.
Also kind of helped.
Yeah, oh yeah, he definitely helped behind the scenes. Apparently he's somewhere high up in government. She has no idea who he is. He's pulling strings, and it's very uncomfortable for Sayer.
I believe the author said that is going to continue.
And I hope so. She gave you like little snippets. You were like, give me more, give me more.
Just a taste.
Well, the character development was very well done, and by the end of the book, you really have a feel for who each of the characters are, how they relate to Sayer, that how she cares for them, and it's really very well done.
And I really liked the relationship that the characters have with each other, how the family was a close-knit group. Sayer has a ward that she has kind of taken under her wing, and she's getting ready to adopt in this story. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I thought she did a really good job of just connecting everybody. You just could feel that they truly cared about each other.
Oh, absolutely. Again, this is a underlying story with her ward that will continue in the following books.
Can't wait for the next one to come out. It's very well done, very well written, and
leaves you wanting more.
Definitely.
And this was the second in the series, right?
Yes, Sayer Altair, number 2.
I would recommend going and reading the first book, and I probably will do that also because I've only read the second. Don't really have to. I think she did a really good job of kind of covering what happened in the first book. I'm just out of my own curiosity want to go back and read that first book.
Oh, definitely, because there's another thread about her fiancé having been killed 4 years ago, and that's an underlying story too that seems to follow through in each book.
Yeah. Well, Kathy found an interesting article that relates to this book in some ways.
Well, not the book, the author, because Ellison Cooper did have a background in murder investigation. I found this article, From Crime Fighters to Crime Writers. A new batch of female authors brings stories that are closer to home. This is an article by Lily Paquet back from September 22nd of this year in the Conversation.com website. I'll just read a few excerpts that kind of give you an idea of how professional women crime fighters are bringing that into the crime writing fiction world. In Dervla McTiernan's book The Scholar, published earlier this year, women are consistently used as the fall guys for men with high aspirations. 2 young women are killed when they uncover fraud. Another female colleague is then framed for the murders. Before writing crime fiction, McTiernan worked as a lawyer for 12 years for international companies like the one in The Scholar. Her background lends her book authority even though it's fiction. McTiernan joins a batch of crime-writing women bringing professional clout to their books. Others are Kathy Reichs, Patricia Cornwell, Marcia Clark, Alifair Burke, Ann Holt, and Lisa Scottolini. This list is a tiny fraction of the trailblazing authors. In books written by ex-justice professionals, we are asked to examine our cultural and moral compasses. These authors don't just write about serial killers, who are thankfully more common in the pages of crime books than in real life. They more often focus on murders by spouses, family members, or colleagues of the victim. Some push for changes to how rape trials are prosecuted. They focus on the justice system problems that women face as victims and as professionals. The stories also ask us to question how we perceive professional women. These authors' characters, who often have much in common with their creators, face a barrage of harassment on the job. Female crime writers have historically been pigeonholed as writing cozy crime novels, as opposed to more graphic masculine representations of the hard-boiled detectives. We are used to reading about women as amateurs. Since the 1970s, more authors have written about women as hard-boiled private detectives. Now we are increasingly seeing women characters in professional roles. When the author is also a professional, she has even more authority. She has insider knowledge. These authors have seen the inside of the criminal justice system, its flaws, and the experience of women within it. They bring this cachet of lived experiences to their crime fiction. Bestsellers by Marcia Clark or Ann Holt could spark moral reflection, validate women's experiences, and be part of the cultural shift needed to end the violence against women.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. She is a professional author now.
Who has a background.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the end of the year, and we are going to take a little break from our normal programming And for the next 2 weeks, because we need to spend a little time with our families, they're getting a little antsy. We need to have our holiday time together. We do have a special program as a memorial to
a dear friend.
A dear friend on our next episode.
It was a previous episode that we interviewed him. He has since passed away, and we want to pay tribute to him. We're going to re-release the episode with some new information, and we hope you enjoy it.
He was a dear friend and very informative. I think you'll enjoy the episode. And then on the next episode, it'll be the last one.
It's going to be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise. It's the last episode of the year. We hope you'll join us, and remember,
life would be boring without a little mystery. Ho, ho, ho!